When I was a kid, my favorite holiday by far was the 5th of July. You know, everybody made a big deal about the 4th and the fireworks and all that stuff, you know. I never really got it. Like, after about, you know, a minute or two of watching fireworks go up in the air, it was like, I'd lose interest, because it was just too predictable, you know. It's going to go up, right? You've seen one, you've seen them all. I was more interested in the day after, the 5th of July. You know, and I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of, that was like the big thing for kids my age, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old. 5th of July, you'd get up early in the morning and you'd go scour the neighborhood for stuff that didn't go off, you know. I didn't really mind the competition though, because the competition was mostly looking for stuff that still had fuses, right? And I could care less. I didn't care if I had a fuse or not. I wanted to gather them up and unroll them all and gather up the gunpowder and then make my own, you know, explosives. In fact, usually, so the 5th of July, 6th of July, you'd have all the other kids in the neighborhood blowing their stuff off. Mine wouldn't go for weeks afterwards, because I would gather up, I mean, tons and tons of, tons, right? As many of these things as I get my hands on. And growing up on Staten Island, you know, in the 70s, there was a lot, right? And I would gather these things up, and I would spend all my extra time unrolling them and gathering up I remember I had a tomato can one year, you know, puree tomatoes, and I filled it. I literally filled it with gunpowder. You know how many of these things you got to unroll to fill a can like that with gunpowder? And then I would start, you know, doing my thing. So, you know, first I remember early on, like, I would try to like duplicate the fireworks, but with more gunpowder. So I'd get newspapers and wrap them as tight as I could and get a fuse in there. And they never really worked. I finally perfected it with a matchbox car. I had a matchbox car, took the bottom of it off, packed it full of gunpowder, like as tight as I could. And then I wrapped it with duct tape. Like many, many wraps of duct tape. And I set that thing off in the middle of the street. And it was, I mean, it was, you know, it was epic, right? It also like peppered all of the neighbors' cars with little pieces of shrapnel. And, you know, it just happens, right? That was fun. That was my fun. The 5th of July. To find all of the things that, you know, just didn't go off, the duds, what disappointed other people, you know, was what excited me. Even when I would find stuff with fuses, I never shot them up in the air. I always found it far more interesting to shoot them down the block, or pair them off and drag race them down the block, yeah, right? Yeah, I was like one of the neighborhood menaces. Like, that never changes. Once I got older and I could actually go out and buy my own fireworks, I kind of like completely lost interest in it. I could care less about store-bought fireworks. Didn't do it. I liked taking the old ones, pulling them apart, getting the gunpowder, and making my own devices. As I got a little bit older, then I discovered the unlimited possibility of unpredictable pyrotechnics with low-budget nitro cars. So I spent like 12 or 15 years bouncing around the country doing that. And it was kind of like the same thing. I found these cars that were just, you know, unworthy, you know, the low-dollar stuff, and I would dive in there and we'd do whatever we could to make them run, and, you know, on second-hand and third-hand parts, and I got my pyrotechnics, you know, to the point that now it's almost like PTSD. You know what I'm saying? I see stuff go off and I'm like, oh, I remember that, right? So, but you know, the reason I even bring this up is because this is kind of like, to this day, it follows through to like everything we do on this channel and all of these projects that we build. I could go out and buy any combination, any speed parts, anything. I could get whatever I want. I could buy it, actually, because of the reach of this channel. I get people to give me this stuff. I have no interest in it. I have no interest in crate motors. I have no interest in new, you know, superchargers or turbochargers or nitro. I have no interest in any of that stuff. My interest comes from finding the junk, the unlikely stuff, the things that nobody wants, and then slowly, carefully crafting them into something that may or may not work. Because it's that may or may not work that I find interesting. Like, I have no interest at all in formula things. I have interest in stuff that, will it go? I don't know. Will it run? I don't know. Will it blow up? I don't know. It's the I don't know that drives me. You know, and like I said, it's like my whole life now with YouTube and these cars that we do in the projects. It's always the 5th of July in my world. So, I don't know, I found this thing and it made me think of this, and I figured I just wanted to share that with you. So, have a safe and happy 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Go blow stuff up. I'll see you tomorrow.